In a newly published candid interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Disney CEO Bob Iger has dropped a number of bombshells regarding the studio's many blockbuster franchises. With fan backlash following the release of The Last Jedi and the abysmal box office performance of Solo: A Star Wars Story pointing towards a perceived Star Wars fatigue in audiences, the Star Wars franchise is in dire straits at the moment. A month or so ago, a report came out stating that Lucasfilm were putting all Star Wars story films, including a rumoured Obi-Wan Kenobi movie, on hold until they could figure out how to move forward properly with the franchise, though this was quickly shot down by the creatives at the studio. The Hollywood Reporter, however, in their no-holds-barred conversation, asked Iger upfront about the current Star Wars situation and how he felt about the many fans who believe Disney should pump the brakes on the franchise and not release a movie every single year. To this, Iger answered with a very surprising and honest answer, stating, "I made the timing decision, and as I look back, I think the mistake that I made, I take the blame, was a little too much too fast. You can expect some slowdown, but that doesn't mean we're not going to make films. JJ is busy making 9. We have creative entities, including Benioff and Weiss, who are developing sagas of their own, which we haven't been specific about. And we are just at the point where we're going to start making decisions about what comes next after JJ's. But I think we're going to be a little bit more careful about volume and timing, and the buck stops here on that." While Iger's statements aren't incredibly revelatory, they are very telling in the fact that it's very clear that the recent backlash of Disney's Star Wars movies isn't falling on deaf ears at the studio. This is certainly something that those who dislike The Last Jedi and those few who boycotted Solo would love to hear. Almost somewhat of a validation that their plans to derail the franchise is working. I, for one, am very surprised by Iger's candour in this interview, as that's probably the most open anyone from Disney or Lucasfilm has been about the situation since last December, and those who have been rallying against Disney and Lucasfilm should surely appreciate and respect this. I've spoken many times of my love for Disney's Star Wars, especially The Last Jedi, and while I find it incredibly sad that Iger feels he needs to take blame for wanting to pump out endless Star Wars content for fans, I do feel that Disney's plans to reassess the future of the franchise is somewhat warranted. I personally have loved Star Wars for close to 20 years and love the immense variety of content we've been getting from Disney, but even as someone who loves the movies, I do feel there needs to be a line drawn on just how much Star Wars we can take. Yes, Disney's Marvel Studios can pump out 3 movies a year and still retain audiences, but we need to take into account that the MCU, while technically one mega franchise, harbors over 10 individual franchises too, meaning every coming movie is completely different in tone and style than the last. To me, Star Wars was always a franchise that worked best as a once every 3 years kind of franchise. The 3 years wait, anticipating the next installment, was always hell for me as a kid, but it made every movie feel like an event. I fear that I will never be as excited to go into a Star Wars movie as I was going into The Force Awakens after a decade-long wait. I was incredibly excited for Rogue One and The Last Jedi, but they didn't quite match what I felt pre-Force Awakens. Going into Solo, I don't think I was incredibly hyped, and to say I feel any kind of hype or excitement for Episode 9 would kind of be a lie. Star Wars, unlike the MCU, needs to remain a once in a while kind of franchise. Every 3 years, maybe not, but every 2, perhaps. Every year, most probably not, and especially not every 6 months as Disney tried and failed to do with Solo. As for what is after Episode 9, I'm not sure. I'd personally love to see Disney stop with the Skywalker saga films and make their main priority well-crafted new adventures in the vast universe or on solo character adventures. I want an Obi-Wan movie badly, but it seems like with their petulance over The Last Jedi and Solo, fans may have squashed all hope of that one ever happening. Iger makes mention of Benioff and Weiss's upcoming trilogy in the interview, which I imagine will follow Episode 9 as Disney's next Star Wars event saga. However, in something that will probably throw the negative online Star Wars commentators into a speculative tailspin, he makes no mention of Rian Johnson's previously announced trilogy. A slip of the mind or a more ominous sign? I am personally betting on the former, especially considering Iger didn't even mention anything about the upcoming reboot of The Clone Wars or on Star Wars Resistance either. All in all, wherever Star Wars goes in the future, it's okay with me, but I would love to recapture that event movie feeling every now and then. If that means it calls for a slowdown from Disney, I'm all for it. How about all of you guys out there? What are your thoughts on Iger's statements, and do you think Disney needs to slow down on the galaxy far, far away for the time being to recapture the magic or win back the fan base? Fire away in the comments below and let me know your thoughts. If this is your first time viewing one of my videos, you like what you've seen, you'd like to see more like this in the future, then please don't forget to hit that big old subscribe button up on your screen right now, and also hit that like button down below if you're feeling extra generous. Also, don't forget to check out my many social media accounts, and please consider supporting me over on Patreon. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you have a wonderful day.